All right. Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to our final episode of Testimonial Tuesday for this season. We will be back again in May, but we want you to make sure that you enjoy this episode today. So, just to get started, just a little housekeeping and things up front is make sure that if you are a business owner or business leader, that you absolutely drop the names of your organization, links to your websites, and links to your social media page in our comments. We are so happy to have you here, and we want to make sure that you take advantage of this free publicity by putting the names of your organizations in the chat. So I am very excited about this episode because today's episode, the last one of this season, features Sheila Fortson, Executive Director and founder of Fame Center. So Sheila was actually my very first client, and I am excited to close out this season with her. So before we introduce you to Sheila, we want to just show you a very short clip of a little bit about Fame Center.
Fame Center was born out of a desire to give people an opportunity to express themselves through the arts. So FAME stands for Fortson Arts and Music Education. Within each one of us, as created beings, we are creative people. And so I think being able to express ourselves, our feelings, our emotions, sometimes it's easier to say something with music or with art than it is to say it with words. The impact that can be made when giving to Fame Center goes beyond just one person. It's a lifetime impact.
Something very good may happen in your life. You can get paid billions of dollars, and if you're already doing a sport or something else that you're doing in your life, just if you can just still try to do piano lessons like me. I do 3 sports and I still do piano. So you can manage it and you can still do your homework.
All right. So welcome. So Sheila Fortson, founder and executive director of Fame Center. And we just watched a very short clip about a little bit about Fame Center. So Sheila, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Lenice.
Of course. Thank you for being here. So we're going to jump right into it, right? So tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start Fame Center. Also, I know you have some good things to tell us about that young man, what Fame Center did for that young man. So yes, please express it to our audience.
Yes. Okay, what led me to start Fame Center? My background is in music. My parents put me in music at a very early age. I was never in sports or anything like that. It was just music. So I started taking piano lessons when I was 8 and violin when I was about 12, and then majored in piano in college. And after that, I was just always involved in something dealing with music. But I wanted to expand that a little bit after undergrad. I felt like I wanted to explore more about the arts. And so a professor directed me to a program at Columbia, which was a Master of Arts in Interdisciplinary Art. And it's really that program that sparked the idea for Fame Center. I was able to dabble, if you will, in 5 major art forms. And it just inspired me to see the talent I had inside that I didn't know I had. I was suddenly, making visual art pieces, and we were exploring dance and creative writing, things I had never, really never tapped into. And for me, I thought, man, if I could give kids an opportunity to find the creativity inside of them at a young age and explore all the art forms at a young age, they might find an interest they didn't know they had. They might find a talent they didn't know they had. And so that was really what sparked it. It was really my master's degree. And then I was teaching and formed my business, my teaching business, into an LLC, and then was encouraged by family and friends and mentors to turn it into a nonprofit.
Okay. So Sheila, so you just hit on some points, but also I want you to tell us about Matthew. So we definitely need to revisit that. But one of the things you just hit on, which was very interesting to me when I first started working with you, which is different from how other people sometimes take the path, which is you started with an LLC, which for folks who don't know is a for-profit organization. And then you went through the whole the whole process of turning that organization into a 501c3. Yes. So tell us a little bit about kind of just your thoughts on that and what that looked like for folks that may not know.
What the process looks like?
Yeah, yeah.
Find a Lanice. Let me just start there. Especially if you're not familiar with the nonprofit world. I had no idea what I was getting into. And I kind of think back now, if I had known, I don't know that I would have done this. So it was good that I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I'm very glad I did. But, it was really the thought of what I wanted to come out of it. It was impact, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted there to be just a real wide reach and impact into the lives of students. We focus on kids, but we also have adult students that, come in and they're like, man, you don't understand how life-changing this is. You don't know how therapeutic this is for me. Music lessons, art classes, whatever it is they're doing. And so really that was the biggest reason. And then just the need to get funding. It's easier to apply for, you can apply for grants a lot easier as a nonprofit, and just the whole world of donor engagement and finding donors who will support and partner with you in what you're trying to do. So, that was, I think, where some of the encouragement came from mentors and family. I had family members who've been involved in nonprofit world. So, but it was new to me, and it was very scary, and it's very difficult turning around. It was easy in the sense that my LLC hadn't been around for that long. But I did go the route of, trying to find some legal help and filling out all the paperwork, that's required. And it was quite a monster, but here we are 2 years later. And, Lanice, I did not know I was your first client. I did not know that until you just said that this morning. So
I know. And, I a little bit kept that from you, at the start. But honestly, I could not have asked for a better first client. In all honesty, just Sheila, your kindness and your gentle spirit, and even just, I know that there were some bumps on the road, especially early on. And I just am so grateful that you have the heart that you have, and you have the desire truly, not just to work for the kids, but to build this organization into a, sustainable business. And I think that, oftentimes that's where nonprofits lack, is that, they don't have they have the impact, right? They want to do that, but they also don't have the desire to build that structure. And so I'm so grateful to have had you as a first client. And we're actually on our last week of working together. And this is almost 2 years. Yes. Almost 2 years. Yeah. Of work. So, and it has been wonderful. And I want you to tell us a little bit about some of the fantastic new things that Fame has done. I've seen it with my eyes over these past 2 years. Also, I want to thank our audience for jumping in and throwing some comments in there for us. Make sure that if you guys are business owners or business leaders, that you please do throw your business names in the chat. But thank you, Felecia, for those compliments. Yes. So Sheila, back to you. Tell us about just some of the growth and things that have happened over the last few years.
Oh man, it would take longer than the time we have, but just the support we've gained. I think I've learned how to tell the story of who we are and what we're about, and we've gained so much support just from the community. From just engaging with donors and partners who are really just interested in this work. I think there's a lot of study done around how the arts, music and the arts, impact education. So there's such a connection in the educational world and students in their grades and mental health for what it is we're doing. And right now we know there's such a need for just healing and mental health help, if you will, in Black and Brown communities, especially. But yeah, the goodness impact. So I'll give you a little story about Matthew. And and then tell you a little bit about, some of the organizations and partners that we're working with now in terms of other organizations. So Matthew is a student. He was my piano student, I think, before we became a nonprofit. And Matthew, typical little boy, he's very much into sports and basketball and football and all those kinds of things. So at first, it was like his mom put him in piano. He was very good, but I think he wasn't like sold on it. And but I saw such ridiculous talent in this kid. Like, he reads music so well and remembers, like, he's just ridiculously talented. So I was pushing him, but we had to talk about how piano is like sports. Okay. I was coming up with every word, picture, and analogy I could think of to get this kid to understand, like, you have to practice the same way you do when you go to like basketball practice, right? So take this section, and he has to educate me sometimes. Like, it's called this, Miss Sheila. But, so Matthew, we were actually able, through a partner and through a donor, to give Matthew his own piano. He had a keyboard in his house. And we were able to give Matthew his own beautiful acoustic piano and pay to have it delivered to his home and have the first tuning in his home. And so, like, that to me is what we're about, is being able to provide opportunities and resources. So students that need instruments, students that need art supplies, students that need a laptop, so that, because we do computer coding and, art through computer code. And then we're focusing this year, we have 4 interns from Adler University who are helping us develop our mental health, our music and art therapy program, really expand that. So the growth has been phenomenal, sometimes a little scary, like, we're growing so fast I can't keep up. We're now in 4 going on 5 schools where we send our teachers to the schools, and we develop curriculum based around the need of that school. So if they need an art program, or if they need to expand their music program, we really will write the curriculum for them and then go in and teach it. So it's been exciting. I mean, and we've got more nonprofits, I won't mention any names just yet, but reaching out to us and talking to us about summer camp programming and working with their kids and putting together week-long programs. So, and just because I wanted to throw this in here and mention the 6 major platforms of the organization. So it's music, art, which is visual art and digital art, computer coding, creative writing, drama, and music therapy. And we're expanding that to music and art therapy. So if you kind of look at the logo, those are the pillars of what the organization is based on.
Okay. So yeah, for the record, I had on my Fame Center sweatshirt because I have some Fame Center swag. Okay. But it was overwhelming because it's so bright, which I love, but I wanted to give you guys the logo. But please take a look at Fame Center's website, Fame Center's Facebook page, Instagram page, and you will see their beautiful logo and all the things that Sheila just talked about, the fantastic programming that they're doing. So Sheila, I know you have just laid it out for us, all these beautiful partnerships and programs and everything that you guys are been doing. So tell me, and it's funny because I tell people this story about how we met, how you ended up being my first client, but tell me a little bit about kind of what pushed you to go ahead and work with Presentation is Everything.
Yeah, well, don't you want to tell a story about how we met?
Okay, yes, sure, because I love this story. Okay, so me and Sheila were both invited to an event, and it was like a tech event. I have no idea why we were there, but yes, but the people that invited us, we were there to support them, right? And just like in the spirit of Women's Month here, right? You support other people, and we were there with our colleagues and supporting them. And it turned out to be very fantastic because we got introduced to one another. And I'll never forget, it was kind of random because we both were just looking like, what are we doing in this room with all these, all these other folks. And then we ended up having coffee after that. And what was, I think was supposed to be like a half an hour coffee conversation ended up being 2 hours of me and Sheila just talking about like the vision and the what we want to see in the future and how we can best collaborate. Fast forward 2 years later, here we are today on this broadcast. So I love that story, right? Because it was kind of happenstance. But we gelled so well, and we found that there were ways that we can help each other. So tell me what kind of made you, pull the trigger and say, okay, I'm going to get this woman in to help my organization.
Well, I think the same thing, that brings everybody to you. It's just the number one, you're so professional, and just so your approach is so friendly and open and not intimidating, But I think I know I needed help. I mean, I heard someone else say on another Testimonial Tuesday, like, I don't know everything. I know the arts and I have some administrative ability and leadership ability, but I certainly, am a fish out of water when it comes to finances and, budgets and all of those things. And so I knew immediately I'm going to have to find somebody. And we happened to sit next to each other, and you handed me your card and I held on to it. And it was just like, let me just give this girl a call and meet with her. And we did. We just gelled so quickly, and I am so grateful. And I've said this before, I don't know if we'd be in the place we are and as strong as we are without the work that you've done over the past 2 years. It's just been so professional, and you've worked so hard. And anytime I have to present something financial wise, I'm like, oh, I'm good. Like, Lanice is going to make this look so professional. Like, I always feel very confident walking into any room. And then I'll call you on the side and say, now, how do I say this? Lanice, how do I put this into words again? Because if it's financial jargon, sometimes I'm like, Lanice can see my eyes glass over. I'm just like, And what is that? And what does that mean? So it was a learning curve for me, but, I leaned into it, and I've leaned into the work of building. And I would say to anyone who's thinking about starting a nonprofit or a business, don't let what you don't know stop you from moving forward. There's always someone out there who will help. And if you're doing the right things, the right people will show up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that was a theme that Roger, who actually I met through Sheila. So Sheila has produced 2 referrals for me, 2 client referrals, and I'm so grateful. But Roger said that that same thing last week, and also another guest of mine, Kate, about surrounding yourself and bringing the good people that will help to build you up, to help to build your dream out, to see it flourish to full fruition. So in our last few minutes, Sheila, I want to make sure to acknowledge. So one thing that is very exciting is that you just brought on a new member of your team. Your first full-time employee, and to kind of pick up the operations and help Fame Center to grow even more. So can you tell us, one, why should people donate to you? Because absolutely we need to put those shameless plugs in for donations for Fame. But also just a little bit about, that growth, adding that new staff member and what we can see and expect from Fame Center in 2021 and maybe even 2022,
Yeah. So I'll start with the second question. Our goal this year is to give out over 100 scholarships to students in the Chicago area and beyond, because now because of the pandemic, we're doing virtual lessons and classes. We're doing free second Saturday webinars where people can jump on and learn new things in the arts. So I think you can expect to see us working with other nonprofits in Chicago and kind of working with students throughout the Chicago area, offering scholarships to them, full and partial scholarships, instruments donated, more students receiving pianos and guitars and violins and laptop computers and year-long classes and lessons. And, we want to inspire kids to find careers in the arts, to find jobs in the arts. We want to provide jobs to artists. So teachers who are looking for teaching positions, or looking to just grow themselves as an artist, who want to be like a guest on a panel that we're doing. So just really providing a safe place for artists and students to grow in the arts. And then I think, goodness, why should you donate to Fame Center?
Absolutely.
Because it kind of goes back to what I said in the video, like, donating to Fame Center it's not a one-person impact. It's not I'm donating for this one scholarship, or I'm donating, for them to buy more instruments. You're giving health and life and healing to a community. And whether that community is right here in Chicago, whether it's, I mean, we've had students tune in from the UK and part of our classes. And when you impact one life, you impact a family, you impact a community. And so I think when one person is healed, healing spreads to everyone around them. And I just believe in the power of the arts to heal people. I just believe that music and creativity, we were made to be creative. And I just believe that by donating to Fame Center, you're giving back to just such a broad outreach and impact of people. And so I just think that's what we're supposed to do as humans, right? Like we're supposed to help heal one another. We're supposed to lift each other up, and just provide compassion and friendship and experiences for each other so that we can all just be better, right? So I don't know. I hope I explained that well enough. I'm still learning to. Thanks, Melissa. I don't know who you are, but thank you for that encouragement. I'm still learning to tell our story in more of an elevator speech, but I'm so passionate about the work we're doing and to see the joy on our kids' faces and their parents. To see a child healed a lot of times is to see a parent healed because they're trying so hard to reach their student. And some kids can only express themselves, right, through writing or through instrument or through creating art. So let's make the world a better place, people.
Fantastic. And I want to make sure to address two questions that just came in. Normally people don't ask questions, so I'm really excited for us to answer these. And I'm comfortable that we've gone over a little bit just to make sure we, engage with our audience. But Felecia asked two questions, both me and you, is how, and Sheila, I'll let you go first. How could people, besides donating, how else could people help you to move forward? And then I will also answer the same question.
I would say spread the word, like tell other people about what we're doing, whether it's another nonprofit or a school that you're working with or a family in your community. Tell people that we're here and that and what we're offering. Share our email and our website. Because if you can't donate, someone who this opportunity would be, awesome for, a student that would benefit from music lessons. And like I said, we have scholarship funding and we really want to provide scholarships for students. So tell folks about us. You can always donate time, email us. There's always work to be done. And then if you know of places that have instruments or, other items that can be donated, art supplies, those are always really well appreciated. So it's not just financial. Those donations are really needed as well.
Okay, fantastic. So I think for me, what I would say is, of course, share. Like I am very passionate about small businesses and nonprofits. So please, share this broadcast, share my contact information, follow us on social media, subscribe to our newsletter, which we send out a bunch of good trainings, grants, and yes, always. And sometimes I'll text Sheila, like, Sheila, make sure you look at the the newsletter today. There's a grant for Fame there. And so please, that would be very helpful. But also more clients. Like I'm always looking to help. I'm excited about helping people. And, as Sheila so graciously said, I do really look at the individual organization and I treat people with kindness and dignity and respect. And I am helping you pursue your journey. And if you're passionate about it, so am I. So, let's get to work making sure that it's sustainable. And so I just want to thank everybody for joining us today, for commenting, for dropping those business names. I see a lot of business names and websites here in our chat. So I want to thank you guys for joining us. Again, this is our last episode of the season. We'll be returning in May. And I'm so grateful that I was able to share this last episode with my very first client, Sheila Fortson, Executive Director and founder of Fame Center. Please donate to Fame Center, follow both of our pages, and we look forward to seeing you guys joining us again when we pick back up in May with season 2 of Testimonial Tuesdays. Have a great one, everyone.